What happens when big CPG launches into a nascent functional CPG category? Should this be seen as a net positive or a net negative? Every industry has its behemoths. And in packaged non-alcoholic beverages, it's really a two-man battle between the Coca-Cola Company and PepsiCo. But this isn't a piece of content about the battles between red and blue. It's actually a piece of content surrounding what happens when one of these CPG behemoths jump into a nascent functional CPG category with a new product offering and not necessarily an acquisition of an existing emerging brand. The inspiration of this content was the recent announcement of PepsiCo launching a functional packaged beverage called Driftwell. So what exactly is PepsiCo's Driftwell? Driftwell is a functional water beverage aimed at combating stress and inducing relaxation. The enhanced water contains 200 milligrams of L-theanine and 10% of the daily value of magnesium, along with possible trace benefits from the flavor system that will only come in one variant at launch, Blackberry Lavender. Driftwell will come in a 7.5 ounce can, so smaller than a typical 12 ounce can, which PepsiCo believes is the perfect size for hydrating before bedtime without requiring another trip to the bathroom. So when exactly is Driftwell being launched and how much will it be? So it will be offered in 10 packs and will be available initially through e-commerce sites beginning in December of this year before it appears on grocery store shelves in the first quarter of 2021. Each 10 pack will cost $17.99. So how did PepsiCo come up with this concept, Driftwell? It actually was a winning idea with this internal competition that PepsiCo has called the Next Big Idea, where PepsiCo allows all of their internal employees to come up with a variety of different improvements, new product ideas, whatever, to kind of drum up some new exciting ideas from the employee level. But I'm personally a big fan of these kind of internal ideation kind of competitions, continuous improvement competitions that any business kind of has, because you just really have no idea the full potential of some of your employees until you give them the opportunity to be kind of like an entrepreneur or just kind of have their voices heard through a competition. So why Driftwell? Why now? And I believe this comes down to kind of two reasons. The first one is around timing. So during COVID-19, I think everybody can agree that we're in this stress-induced environment that's creating a ton of issues with our sleep, maybe even getting to the point of insomnia. And overall, it'd be nice for us to have something to let us kind of relax and maybe sleep a little bit better. So with all that happening in the macro environment, it kind of piqued the attention of PepsiCo, and launching this themselves, this is something that they needed, that nascent category, to have some tailwinds from the macro environment to make sense, because winners and losers in terms of PepsiCo is much different than maybe a small startup brand. So them jumping into a category and them thinking maybe we'll make $1 million, that's a total fail for PepsiCo, especially when you're considering all the resources that need to be thrown into a bureaucratic sales organization that is pushing a beverage offering nationwide. So when PepsiCo did hear the Driftwell idea, at least the concept of a sleep and relaxation beverage, packaged beverage, they jumped on it really quick, and actually, at least what they say, was the quickest ideation to commercialization in the company's history. Now, the second reason is it just further diversifies the portfolio of PepsiCo. Soda consumption has been declining for the last so many years as consumers are shifting away from sugary beverages. PepsiCo has been trying to slowly reduce its reliance on its namesake Pepsi Beverage. So they have been looking at a bunch of different other beverage categories. And PepsiCo has an offering in pretty much every conventional packaged beverage category, but they have been a little bit light if you consider the sheer amount of subcategories that could be approached and have offerings in a functional beverage application. So when I talk about functional beverages, Driftwell is considered within the bigger functional beverage and functional food category. And the category of functional foods and beverages is really just an evolution in kind of the human desire to always want more. If you're having a conventional product that just kind of satiates hunger or creates some sustenance, you might want to seek out something similarly that meets those needs, but also creates some type of functional benefit for you, has some value add to it. And that's where the growth of functional food and beverages really kind of gets a lot of its power from, because of that basic human need, always seeking and wanting more. So if you're able to package a bunch of these kind of value add or provide some health benefits in a convenient format that is very comfortable for your natural consumption behavior, this is a win-win. Because of that, it's no surprise that a bunch of the investment dollars have flowed towards functional food and beverages. Upwards of a few $100 million in the last year did go to functional food and beverage startups. Driftwell is specifically kind of included in the relaxation category of these functional beverages. But if you think about just the enhanced water, value-added water category of functional beverages, that's about a $3 billion category in the US right now, and it's growing around 5% on a compounded annual growth rate. So a bunch of opportunities in this category. And while this relaxation category is still very nascent and small in the US market, if you look and get kind of inspiration from the Japanese market, you will see that they utilize a lot of these products even more, and some of it kind of goes back to their elevated consumption of kind of teas and kind of herbal tea mixes that do maybe have chamomile, and having that be a part of their kind of daily routine. So PepsiCo thinks, hey, there's already some natural behavioral patterns that we can mimic in other markets, so there is some availability for us to take some of that early growth and build a packaged beverage that can be a market win. So if we look at the competitive landscape that PepsiCo is kind of going against, they are not the only offering if you consider relaxation and sleep packaged beverages. Neuro is a functional beverage brand that's been around for a while. They also offer a sleep beverage, a Psalm Sleep, which I've used a ton, like it a lot. That's a competitor that has gained a lot of steam over the last couple of years. Then also Marley's Mellow Mood has been something that's been in the market for a while, and has also kind of included CBD, which many consumers could be looking at CBD beverages as kind of a substitution effect to this category. While I'm certain PepsiCo will launch products with CBD in them in the long term, they are currently handcuffed by regulatory and legal concerns at this time. Additionally, if you broaden this to include nutritional supplements and tea blends, the landscape becomes much more competitive. It is also interesting to note that functional foods, such as Night Food ice cream, are attempting to address this consumer need through unique innovations. Now, if we circle this back to the original question that I had in the introduction of this video, if a large CPG player jumps in and includes an innovation product into a nascent functional CPG category that they didn't buy an existing emerging brand, does that help? Is that a net positive or is that a net negative? Typically, when a large competitor enters any nascent category, that's considered a validation to the market. And they bring a slew of benefits with them because they have an elevated marketing budget. They are able to communicate and educate consumers maybe on that functional category. They're also bringing a lot of distribution muscle, so these products will be seen in a lot of the larger retail channels that maybe will catch the eye of a lot of new consumers. Plain and simple, market validation helps to grow the market. It drives more customers who are kind of followers over leaders, because leaders, kind of first adopters, have already been in the category for a while. This isn't a new category that they're creating. And because of that, it creates a lot of buzz and momentum. It also awakens the attention of a lot of investors that maybe didn't think this category was something that had any potential. But now that it's validated by a large market leader, even if that large market leader takes a large share of that new market, there are a ton of other opportunities that are created because of the larger market for those existing brands to iterate further or to get acquired by one of that large competitors. So a lot of times what happens with PepsiCo, if they launch something that's successful or they buy something that's successful, then It's a matter of time before Coca-Cola buys something. That being said, I'm not exactly sure if this PepsiCo offering the Driftwell product is necessarily going to help the category as much as it could. And why I say that is because I have kind of elevated expectations for PepsiCo in functional CPG. Now, all large CPG players are competent. They have the ability to enter any market if they want to. They have the capabilities, they have the resources, they have the money. But PepsiCo, to me, is kind of stands above and beyond. And that's because they already have a lot of resources in-house that have proven that they can create great things. You have Gatorade, you have Cytosport, which is the owner of Muscle Milk, Health Warrior, and then Rockstar Energy. So you have a ton of different resources from innovation, R&D, strategy that could come up with a really great product concept and commercialization plan. But to me, honestly, this PepsiCo Driftwell is a fail. Now, I understand the majority of CPG launches are technically failures, especially when you're considering what level a win is for a brand like PepsiCo. But whatever way you kind of look at this wasn't their best effort. Now, ideation at the category level was amazing, and I've been extremely long and extremely bullish on kind of sleep and relaxation packaged beverages being a monster category long term. But when you get down to the product level of PepsiCo's Driftwell, it kind of breaks down from there. It's not a really good effort. There's a ton of other things that they could have included. Now, I understand that something like a sleep beverage, maybe you want to be extra cautious because of claims or whatever reason, you don't want to get yourself interwoven into some legal issues. But this product as it stands really is kind of placebo effect at best. And I don't necessarily think it's going to create any consumer retention that grows the category in a long-term way. I might go as far to say that it might turn off a lot of consumers that try this product, and then it takes them longer to recycle back to the category because they think of all of these sleep and relaxation beverages as being kind of snake oil. Yes, some people will try it, maybe enjoy it a little bit, maybe not enjoy it, and look for products that maybe are more advanced, have some different benefits, but there's going to be a lot of people that drop off and maybe not enter the category again for a long period of time. So my advice for PepsiCo would be this: roll back your physical retail plans. Launch this only online and consider this kind of your first iteration of your minimum viable product. After you've gotten some feedback and you understand maybe what your consumers are looking for, which would be easier for you to do in an online setting, take your learnings and then iterate that product to create what would have a better probability of being successful in the overall market. That's when you take it over to your larger retail channels, push and put all of your power of your distribution arm and your marketing budgets and a lot of the other things that you have advantages over the category on, and feel a lot more confident doing that. I think that's probably going to wait latter part, Q4 of 2021. And I don't necessarily think you need to be too concerned with just speed and missing out and having FOMO. You will have access to a lot of people that are interested in this. If people are interested in trying that product, they can go online. And trust me, it's very easy for first adopters or even interested buyers to go online. You'll be offered nationwide, and you can even kind of create a pricing strategy that breaks you even so you can get an elevated amount of trial. Because when you do go into your larger retail channels, you'll have a better chance of getting your upper management to be excited. If you launch it in there as quick as possible now, I think anybody knows what's going to happen. You're going to see some of those upper management leaders looking at the sales data from some of the retailers or maybe some of the pulled data from Nielsen or IRI and saying, this is not meeting our normal launch metrics. This is totally not working. After a while, you realize it's a dump of resources. There's negative sentiment in the organization at the sales level. They're not pushing it very hard, and it just becomes a negative snowballing effect. Now, for my upstart brands that are listening to this and have offerings in kind of the sleep and relaxation beverage or just kind of any of the ancillary categories that I talked about that are meeting that consumer need, take a deep breath and realize that you are in a better position now than you were before PepsiCo announced this. When a big sleeping giant suddenly wakes up and decides they want to get into a certain category, it serves as a validation to that market, and this can be leveraged to your advantage. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to help support me, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button on this video. If this is the first time you've been introduced to my videos. Would love for you guys to be a part of my community by subscribing to my channel. I upload several videos just like this weekly. And if you guys want to connect further outside of this platform, I do include all of my social media links down below. I just want to thank you guys again for your time. Hopefully I gave you value in return, and we'll see you guys on the next video.